Coach, what steps would you like to see the defense take over the next couple weeks before you start preparation for Miami?
Well, really here, the whole camp, we've got a few objectives, and I think we're on the right track to try to reach those by the time camp is over. We just want to become consistent. You know, we have a play style that we want to play with, and we want to do it consistently day after day after day, and it needs to show up on Saturdays for the games. But I really like where we're at right now.
And then I know it's early, but the three freshman corners, what are just kind of your impressions of them so far?
They're just learning. You know, they're out there getting thrown to the fire a little bit, but they're learning, they're competing, they're getting better every single day. So really pleased with all the young guys from what they've done so far here during training camp.
That's great. First year at Notre Dame, what have you kind of learned from your previous stops, from other experience that you've had, you're kind of trying to either apply at Notre Dame or just kind of keep in the back of your head?
Really, it's a process, and here it's no different. It's a process to get us to where we want to get to, but it really starts about the relationships. Me getting to know the players, them getting to know me, the staff, and just being consistent with what we're doing. That's really it. I mean, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to fit into how I've got to fit in and get to know everybody and work the process the way we need to.
Chris, you got Boubacar and Jordan Botelho both coming back from injuries. They've both been doing individual drills. What have you seen from them so far that gives you hope that they can contribute earlier maybe than expected?
Well, of the injuries, I don't know. That's up to the medical staff, and they'll tell us if they're ready to go or not ready to go. But I like their attitude. They show up every day to work. They listen, they learn. They're doing a great job in meetings. They come out here and they're trying to compete. That's all I can tell you right now. Everything else, what they're going to be able to do for us, that's up to the doctors and medical staff, and time will tell.
And in terms of depth, how much do you expect to rotate people through, because you do have a ton of depth on this?
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. The players need to earn the right to play, but we want to play as many players as we possibly can. I think that's got to be one of our strengths, is our depth, our ability to rotate, keep guys fresh, be able to fight through injuries. So far, we're rotating a lot of guys at practice, and they embrace it, and they're all competing. They all want that opportunity to go out there and start, but at the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of guys that are good enough to start, and we're going to play a lot of guys.
What are you seeing from Leonard Moore, Coach, on and off the field as he steps into more of that senior role, even though he's a sophomore?
Yeah, he's still young, you know. I forget that at times. Like someone was asking about a play from last year, what year were you? And he said, freshman. I'm like, yeah, he's still a freshman. But out here, it's like he's a fifth-year senior. The way he goes about and handles his business in the meetings, the extra work that he puts in, he's here early, he stays late. One of the first ones out here onto the practice field. He's always trying to do things at a high level. And, again, he's still young, so he's still got a lot of room to improve, but boy, he competes.
And what are you seeing out of that middle linebacker group that it kind of gives you the impression of, hey, they're making strides as well. They had a 6-year graduate student leave that kind of set the tone for them, but what are you seeing out of them?
Kind of the same thing. They're more mature beyond their years, but they've all played. We've got a lot of guys that have played last year. That's the benefit of where we're at right now, the type of season that these guys had last year. And, I don't know that we're missing a beat. They learned a lot from a guy like Jack Kaiser about how to lead and how to take care of yourself and how to prepare and go out and compete every single day. And I think they've just taken the torch and run with it. And, they're leaders of our defense, and they've got really good competitive spirit within the group, and they're doing a great job of communicating, getting guys lined up, making adjustments. Can't say enough good things about them.
Where do you mentioned the fact that, you're still getting to know the guys, they're getting to know you better. Where is that comfort level at now? And how long does that take? Coach Denbrock talked about that a lot last year with Riley Leonard of, getting to know each other. How long does that process really take?
Well, I don't know that it ever ends, but, sometimes it takes longer than others. And I think, I'm trying to be really intentional about building a relationship with the guys, and I think they're doing the same with me. And I think we're a lot further along than typically maybe you would be as a first-time coach here. But, it starts with trying to get the guys to know that I care about them. They can trust me, and can we make them better? And I think all those three things are kind of coming along right now, and I like where it's at.
Coach Friedman said, hey, this is your defense. You're not trying to fill Al Golden's shoes. Where are you in evaluating, all right, this stuff worked. We want to keep this stuff, but, okay, I want to put in my wrinkles of what I feel like can enhance things.
Yeah, well, to start, I've talked about that a lot in the past. This is the Notre Dame defense, and there are certain things that are really important to play defense at Notre Dame, and it has nothing to do with scheme. It has everything to do with the mindset of the players, that they show up and they play fast, they play violent, and they compete consistently. They're fundamentally sound, they're situationally aware, and we're going to go at it. We're going to go compete, and we're going to do the best that we can every single day. That's the Notre Dame defense. In terms of scheme, it's all about concepts. The concepts that I like are the same things that they've had here in this package. That's just really where it's at. And we're just trying to get better every single day. And, the guys are confident in what we're doing. They have a lot of belief in themselves, and they're flying around and competing and having a lot of fun out here right now.
We'll close with that. Coach, when you look at Tay Johnson, what has stood out about him and what you've been able to see through the spring and then now for the first couple of days?
Well, he's a tremendous athlete. That's where it starts. But he's got a nose for the ball. He's always around the ball. He's got great ball skills. He's going to get his hands on the ball. He's got great range. He can run sideline to sideline, and he's not afraid to hit. He's still a young pup as well, and he's growing and learning every single day. But the sky's the limit for him.
When you look at the safeties room, though, you have a guy like him, and then you have a grad transfer, and then obviously a Don back there as well, and then Luke. In terms of the rotation of that, how difficult is that balance when it seems like any of them can step on the field at any moment?
Yeah, again, the roles will be determined towards the end of camp. Right now, we're just evaluating, we're installing, we're competing, and all of those guys are doing that. And in terms of who's rotating, who's starting, who's doing what, those roles will be determined later on as we continue to play some football. But I just like the group. I like the development, the growth, how far they've come in a short amount of time. We don't necessarily have a tremendous amount of experience back there, but we've got some hungry guys that are competing, and they're getting better every day.
How different is it to be coaching Jeremiyah rather than seeing him across the sideline in the Orange Bowl? Like, what are the differences you're seeing, and tell us about working with him up close now?
Well, the good part, when I was on the other side, I didn't have to defend him. I had to just make sure if he scored, we scored. So it's fun, man. He's a kid that he just want to get better, and it's to continue to challenge him. You got a different coach with a different philosophy of teaching, so you get to elevate yourself. It might have been something good the last coach did well, but I know there's a lot of areas that the last coach probably didn't expertise in. What's the right word? Tongue-tied a little bit from the sun, but like approaching the back end, like teach them coverage, right? Teach them the front, so how those things work hand in hand, so allow him to take advantage when they're not in the gap, or when I release him on a route, that he knows who got him. It's the corner, it's the wheel, it's the free safety coming down, so we can take advantage of those mismatch with his speed of playing outside the backfield. So he's a sponge, and I think he knows he want to get better, right? Because at the end of the day, he also got goals to play the next level, and it's also going to help him interview when he leaves Notre Dame, when he's go to the combine, when they ask him all these questions. So that's been my challenge. The spring was about knowledge, it's about growing him. Now it's time to put it together. It's trying to put it together so when an opportunity comes down the road, we're ready for game one.
You've had a lot of those two-back sets, with either Kenny or CJ playing quarterback. Having such a deep running back room, what does that mean for when you play those kind of plays and have those sets? What are you seeing with that deep running back room, and how important is that to your team?
Well, we're trying to figure out what Notre Dame going to look like this year on offense. If that's one of our best group, then how can we get some of the better players on the field that's in that room? But also, it's a great matchup. Like, my experience in that set, even my days back at West Virginia, it's a problem for defense. How did you defend it? Do you play a nickel defense? Do you play a base defense? And you keep three linebackers on. If you do, now we motion the guy out, we got advantage. So it's all about what's going to give us an advantage to win, right? To get one more point than our opponent to win the game. And so those things we'll figure out as we go, but it's a good thing that we get to push it this off-season now in the summer, to give us a chance to see what we do well, what we like, and what we don't like in the package.
I know you guys aren't full pads yet, but what have you seen from your group in pass pro?
Today was a really exciting day for me because I challenged them yesterday. I didn't think we was at our best, and to be who we want to be and where we want to go, like it can't be an off day. It won't be an off day, especially me coaching. Like I'm gonna try to get the best out of them, and I thought today they brought their best. Like this, to me, we attacked. We talking about being the hammer, not the nail. Like a lot of times as a running back, the linebackers are naturally gonna be bigger than us, right? But if we can play with good pad level and we can have that big heart, that dog mentality where we're going to get up under, we're going to strike, and we may lose, but at the end we can be a speed bump and get ran over low. Whatever it takes to get Kenny and CJ enough time to get the ball out, we got to own that responsibility. I want you to have the mentality when you block, it's like you carry the ball, hey, it's 4th and 1, we got to win the game. You got to have that mindset. I got to find a way to get it done by all means necessary.
And then you kind of touched on it earlier, but as a former quarterback, I know in the spring you said you wanted to teach these guys to see it from a quarterback's view. Have you noticed them implementing that?
Absolutely, absolutely. The game is being played at a different speed, right? It's really starting to slow down to them, and I don't base it off the older guys, because even if you didn't know, it's things that of experience you can pick it up. But I look at a young guy like Kedren, the way the game's slowing down. He can anticipate pressure. He can anticipate front change. Now, he can stick his foot in the ground on certain run plays, and he can attack the edge on perimeter pressure. So, like, you see the growth happen with those kids.
Can you talk more about Kedren Young and how he's competing in a pretty crowded backfield, and like what strides he's taking, what you're looking for him to do in fall camp?
To me, it started in spring. Like, he made himself known. Like, I asked him what happened last year, because I was like, dude, you were too talented. What happened to you? Was you know what I mean? Did you rest? Like, I just started from ground zero. I really didn't want to watch film. I just wanted to get out there and form my own opinion. He's a kid who's ready to play. Kedren will play this year. I don't know the roles yet, right? But he's a kid that's tough. He's physical. He's a load to bring down. He's lean. He's big body. It's gonna be hard for people to attack him one-on-one. So I think he's got a bright future. The one thing I can say about the whole room, so refreshing to be unselfish. Now, I think when you talk to these kids, kudos to them, and we had every kid come back, and the world was easy to transfer and go chase money. Every kid stayed the course. They know J Love here, they know Jadarian here, they're waiting their time. And to me, I can't thank that room enough, and I tell them all the time, man, like, I appreciate you guys being unselfish. Like, I just want to say that as their coach, that they come in this room, new coach, nobody leave, and they stayed in a crowded room.
Coach, when you look at Aneyas, he showed the ability to do a little bit of everything. When you have, obviously, JD and Jeremiyah, what do you feel like he needs to do to not necessarily join the rotation, but also elevate that much more this year?
I just think, comparison to Thief or Joy, he needs to just be him and find ways to get better. It's only one J Love. It's only one Aneyas. It's only one Jadarian. Learn from their older approach and how they approach, which I think he does. Aneyas got an old man soul. Like, he's really probably one of the better leaders in the room. He just got to be him. Things I challenged him all season to work on flexibility. He a little high cut, so he got to sink his hips a little better, because that'll show up. 3rd and 4th down, you got to run. If you don't get your hips low, like, you're going to get knocked back instead of defense. So, and even in pass pro, like, you need those things. So we've been talking about that area and then taking the next step, not just for him, but the whole room.
Being a new coach and all, what's the main identity or tone you're trying to establish within this running back room?
To be authentic, be yourself, right? I mean, you at Notre Dame for a reason. I mean, you was already one of the best of the best. To me, like, I'm coming, I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna try to be the last coach. No offense, that's no disrespect, but I've been coaching for a long time. I know what it looked like, and I think, not to be cocky, but I have a good resume of developing guys and developing multiple guys and putting guys in that next level. So I just told the guys, look, I don't need you to try to be nothing that you're not. I need your best version of yourself. Let me coach you hard. But as hard as I'm a coach, I'm gonna love you the same way. And that's how you build bond. And to me, my biggest thing, I need to earn their trust as well as I'm earning their trust, because if they know I got their best intention, they're gonna give me their best effort. And they know I'm gonna fight for them tooth and nail. And that was my biggest thing in spring. Hey man, fight for your trust. I hate when you come in the room and you feel like as soon as you walk in, they gotta trust you. I gotta earn that. I tell y'all young coaches, like, you walk in this room, we getting these young kids that's come in as freshmen, not here as much, but other places from experience, and you think right away they gotta respect you. Some of these kids are young men coming in. You gotta earn it. And I learned as a young coach, man, hey, work hard at earning their trust, and they're gonna love you, and they're gonna give you their best effort going forward.
And speaking of your resume, how did your experiences really help with this transition out to Notre Dame?
It's funny, like, you forget what it's like to take a new job sometime when you're at one place so long. So it was a transition. I haven't been around a lot of these guys. I knew some of the guys on staff, but it was refreshing because now it's a new challenge. I haven't been in this offense with them Brock, so trying to learn their lingo. The last place I was a big part of putting that offense together, with a lot of parts that kept that offense together. So it was exciting, and it also, like, to me, when you stop growing as a coach and you stop learning, you're gonna be replaced. And to me, I took it as a challenge. Hey, head down first, go to work, and don't ever forget who you are as a person, right? Ball is ball. You know what I mean? Cover 2 is cover 2. Like, understand what that's gonna be. Just find our identity, who we want to be, what's our mentality gonna be in this room, and whatever we can do to help Notre Dame win.
Gi'Bran, fall camp is a way to reinvent yourself or hone your skills. What is your mindset? What is your goal with fall camp?
My goal for fall camp just to come out here and have fun, not make it too much of a big thing. I kind of got my feet back under me in the spring, so that mental aspect, physicality aspect, that's already been gained back. So this fall is just trusting what I know and going out and performing, having fun.
So when you were off the field last year, what was the biggest learning experience that you've taken to fall camp this year?
I would say just the mentality and the mental aspect of it, learning the game from another level, deeper mentally, and just, harping on the little things and making them elite and, just becoming an expert at them.
In the spring, you mentioned you were confident mentally in your knee. What did it take to kind of get over that hump to get hit or even make a cut?
Just that first hit. After that first hit, I was good. My first hit came from a Don, so you can imagine that, a Don, headhunter. So after that hit, I even went up to him. I told him, yeah, you got me over my last barrier, getting hit, and we kind of shared a moment. And yeah, that's what got me over the mental aspect and physicality aspect of coming back.
And then what's allowed the room to maintain a healthy culture? Obviously, it's talented and you guys are competitive, but why are the relationships so good?
I think that was instilled in us from when we first got here. Coach D, carving out a role for us and everybody just trusting in his plan. And Coach Seider has done a great job of taking that over. Having it as a healthy competition and everyone just going out and competing, having fun, and letting the work talk for itself.
You talk about everybody having a role. What do you see your role as?
We haven't really gotten into that really so far. Coach Seider's still learning everybody. Spring ball was a good step to that, but fall camp is going to really cement that, and he'll get into roles and everything, talking about that.
And that's on the field. What about in that running back room? How do you see yourself in that running back room?
I see myself as a leader. One of the older guys now, me and JD, and we take pride in that. Just coming from, having Audric and Logan, Chris Tyree as our mentors, we kind of take pride in that and hold the young ones to that standard. And yeah.
Anything else?
What's one part of your game that fans or media don't really see and you take a lot of pride in?
I wouldn't say there's a part that they don't see. I take a lot of pride in pass pro, of course, and just running with that kind of mentality that just to refuse to lose. Because that was my roles, of course, 2 years ago, big pass pro and short yardage. So just extending on those and making those perfect. I would say that's really it.
So would you say your motto is refuse to lose?
That's a big thing on the team, competitive spirit, refusing to lose, finding another way to challenge everything, stuff like that. So that's kind of instilled in me, just to, be a refuse to lose type of guy.
JD, we've seen a little bit of two-back sets here early on. How does that kind of open up this offense, and what excites you about that?
I mean, Coach Denbrock's given us a lot of plays every day. It's been challenging, but pretty fun. We've been asking for this back when Coach McCullough was here, and Coach Denbrock finally has listened to us. So we'll have a lot in store this upcoming fall.
And then as you sort of come into another year healthy, what is the next stride that you feel like you need to take to be where you want to be?
Just productive on every down. Just being able to be trustworthy on every down. That's all I need to work on.
Coach Seider mentioned in the spring, as a former quarterback, he could help you guys see the game from a different perspective. 6 months in, do you kind of view the game differently at that point?
Yeah, I think I'm a smarter football player. With the knowledge I have now, I think I could have played quarterback back in high school. Probably not college level, but back in high school. But it's a pretty good attribute to have, just being able to see the field. We're back there with the quarterback, so we see what he sees, but it helps us a lot in the pre-snap reads and understanding who's on block, what we need to read, who are the blitzers, things like that.
And then year two of the same offense, how much comfort do you feel in that at this point?
Year two with Coach Denbrock, it's a lot more, it's higher expectations. You see what we did last year. So he's on us on every play, even the smallest details. Not being quick enough on motions, things like that. So we're very much more confident in this offense, but it's a higher expectation. So.
Building off of that, the success of last year, having that confidence, how much motivation does this team have after making that run, but then just coming up short of the ultimate goal?
A lot of motivation. I was so excited to come back and be with this team again. And, it's a new team. We got a couple new faces, but, the relationships stay the same. We're all in this together. We got a common goal, and it doesn't matter who we face up against or what happens. We're just going to go in and week out and take care of business. But, it's a lot of motivation. It's one of the things that's going to motivate me throughout the season for sure.
And then, how dangerous is this running backs room, top to bottom?
I think a lot of people know we're dangerous, but we just want to be able to get better than we were last year. We showed a couple weaknesses here and there, and just filling the gaps and separating ourselves between other people, and just challenging ourselves to get better, whether it's in the passing game or the running game, or just even making ourselves valuable in special teams as well.
What aspects of your game have you really worked on during the offseason?
Yeah, Coach Seider's brought us, challenged us to be smarter and just being able to read the game. And I worked on slowing the game down and not be so frantic with my movements and my footwork and just being able to set up blocks. I think that's what I worked on a lot, is setting up blocks and being more patient in the run game. But also in the pass game, what I've been working on the past 3 years is what NFL scouts want to see, and that's pass blocking, but ultimately it's to protect our quarterbacks.
And what is the mindset of this running back room?
The mindset is clear. We want to be the best running back room in the country, but we also just want to get better every week. We know we're not going to be perfect. No one's perfect. We just want to do better than we did the week before.
We'll close here.
Jadarian, you said as a former QB, and you can sit back there and see what the quarterbacks see. What are you seeing from both of them that get you excited? What are some of their strengths from each one that you like, and what are they doing well? From CJ and from Kenny.
Yeah, they're both young guys. They both they're athletic players, and so that it's just fun to when they motion you to the other side of the field, and all of a sudden you see them scrambling and making a crazy sidearm throw. Like, it's fun to watch and it's fun to be a part of, but it's also fun to work with them. Even though they're young, they really challenge themselves to get better, and they ask you to do extra work. Hey, they don't forget about the backs in the pass game. Hey, come out to practice, let's work on back shoulder passes. Things like that we didn't really work on in the past. So I'm excited for this season.
Jeremiah, can you outline your goals for the team as well as yourself, and how will you accomplish that this year?
My goals for myself is to just be better than I was last year. It's not specific numerical goal. Just want to be a better player, better person, and as a team, I want to be better than we were last year as well. We know what it takes to achieve greatness, and just here to put in the work every single day, and that's going to be our key to being better than we were last year.
How has your running evolved? And tell us your running style. How would you define yourself as a runner?
My running style is pretty much the same as it's always been. I can pretty much be anything I need to be: power back, elusive back, athletic back, jump over people, whatever I need to be. Nothing's really changed in that perspective. But what was the other question? I'm sorry.
In terms of your evolution, tell us, how's your blocking as well as your pass catching out of the backfield?
Blocking, I've gotten significantly better from my freshman year, I would say. More of a physical back. I can hold off bigger defenders, partly because of my weight gain, work in the weight room, and pass blocking, pretty much solid now.
And then kind of building off of that, it seemed last year you wanted to show off your power during the year. I guess, is there an area of your game that you're excited to kind of showcase this fall?
I would say I'm excited to showcase more of my receiving ability, because obviously everybody knows I can run. I want to showcase more of my blocking as well. This year I hope to be more of, in the pass blocking game. But really just I want to, showcase more of my receiving abilities.
And then what's kind of allowed you to stay grounded? I mean, obviously there's a lot of hype around your name entering the season. What's kind of allowed you to stay humble and grounded?
It just from the get-go, I've never really paid attention to stuff like that. I hear it, and it's cool to hear, but at the end of the day, everything lies in my own work, and that's really all I care about at the end of the day. I really could care less about what anybody else has to say because I want to be complete with myself. I want to, prove to myself that I am who I am. So pretty much just don't listen to it. It could be good, it could be bad. Try to tune everything out.
What do you see as your role in that running backs room?
I see myself as I have to be a leader. I'm not the only leader in the room, but I'm in a place where there's many people in this program that might be looking to me to help craft their own game. So I always got to do the right things. Got to make sure that I am doing the best that I can, so that others can just see that and try to take after them. Because I'm not much of a vocal person. I'm more of a go out there and just do it type of guy. So I just got to do the right things every single day and just make sure I'm not setting a bad example for the freshmen and for other players as well.
And you mentioned how excited you are to show off your receiving skills. And we noticed Mike lining you up in two back sets and motioning you out, or sometimes just lining you up in the slot. How excited are you when those play calls come?
I get real excited because, hey, when I'm in an open space, I feel like I can do a lot of good for the team. I can be in the backfield too, but whenever I get outside and get to line up at receiver, it's just a different type of feeling. I just feel more free, and feel like I am able to do more. It's one-on-one. It's me against you, and for the most part, I believe I'm gonna win those every single time.
So they're learning from you. Obviously, you set the example by action, but what are you necessarily learning from them? What are you learning from the other guys in the running back room that has stood up to you?
We all kind of build off of each other. I would say that I learned from them I can say JD for instance. JD's very good with his footwork. He does a very good job of getting his feet on the ground, whenever he's making cuts. With me, I'm more of a bouncy type of guy. I make a cut, I'm in the air for a little bit. So what I take from JD's game is get your feet on the ground faster so that you can be able to make your next move. And that's what I can take from JD. Gi'Bran, he's a very great pass blocker. So I can shape my technique after his because my freshman year watching Gi'Bran, I don't think I saw a game where Gi'Bran let up a sack on a QB or let a linebacker get past him or Nick or anybody. So just things like that. I can take certain people's skill sets and try to incorporate that into my own.
As you demand more from your body and your skill set over the years, staying healthy off the field, what are you doing in your off kind of time besides practice to stay healthy, to regenerate the muscles? What are you doing that you find is helpful for you?
Me, I'm just getting myself into a routine, making sure that after every practice I'm stretching, getting some food in my system, getting my electrolytes, watching film, just getting into a routine so that my body will basically just be in a routine. The more you're in a routine, the better that your body will be able to perform because it's used to it. Just getting a routine with recovery, mental recovery, things like that.
How much confidence does last year's run give this whole team and also the motivation it provides that you guys were so close but didn't achieve the ultimate goal?
You talking about last year's run?
Yeah.
The run game, or are you talking about the
just getting to the national championship game, making that whole run? How much confidence does that give you guys, and then how much motivation does that provide losing in that championship game?
I would say it doesn't. We don't take that game as being it's going to be our motivation to get back there. We just want to be the best version of ourselves, and if that happens, we go back to the Natty and we win it, and that's great. But I would say, as a team, we're not looking at that game and be like, oh, we got to use this as confidence. It's more just everyday things. We want to be the best version of ourselves. I'm gonna keep saying it because that's really the goal. It's not the goal is not to the goal is to win a national championship, but if all else fails, the goal is to be better as football players and as academics, whatever it may be, just be better versions of ourselves. And some people might use the game as motivation or confidence, but me personally, I do the same things every day, no matter what's happened in the past. I'm just going to continue to try to better myself.
And how dangerous is this running backs room as a whole, top to bottom?
I would say, me personally, I feel like everybody in that room can make a play wherever it's needed. And that's just big because coaches trust us. We can trust each other. Our teammates trust us. And we're just a very explosive offense in general. It's not just the backfield. You got the receivers. You got JD. You know what I mean? JG. You got Will. You got everybody who can make plays. In the quarterback room, you got CJ or Kenny. You know, they throw a bomb to JD or Will or myself, and they put me out wide. So it's not just a running back room who's explosive. Everybody's explosive. The whole team is explosive. Offense, defense. They're just gonna make plays.
Aneyas, what can we expect from you this year?
Obviously, we got the same expectations going into this year. Just looking to build off of my role and just do more. A sneak peek would probably just say a little bit more out of the backfield. Obviously, run the ball a little bit more and even get out in space, out in the slot a little bit.
How have you evolved as a runner, as a receiver, and as a blocker?
I would just say just the mentality that I've came with this year. Obviously last year was a growth mindset, just looking to grow and expand. This year I'm really comfortable just with the things that are thrown at me and just looking to build off of what I did last year, and then just knowing more, like having more sense of awareness of like what the defense is in. Just being a vet. Honestly, that'd be my honest answer. Just playing more like a vet.
Not that you weren't a confident player last year, but making the plays in the Orange Bowl, how much confidence does that give you to go into this year?
Just like a sense of belonging, just like knowing you can do this. For the longest time, I was telling myself, you're just a freshman. I think kind of just getting rid of that whole mindset this year and knowing, you did this last year, man. Like, come on, let's pick it up. Just do it at a higher percent this year. Do it more and do it more often.
How your preparation has been so far this year?
It's really been the same, but obviously just more advanced. Taking recovery more serious, especially camp. Taking recovery, my weight, and really staying on top of that. I'm looking to be more, trying to get faster this year, so I dropped the weight a little bit. That way just run, add to open field runs and stuff, things like that. I would just say kind of came in with the same mindset, looking to do the same things just at a higher rate.
Okay. And at this time, how would you describe your strength?
I feel like I'm stronger than ever right now. I feel really good right now. My body feels healthy. I was a little knocked up, banged up at the end of the year, but I feel really good coming into fall camp.
We got to see a punt return the other day. How comfortable and how excited are you about that one?
Oh, I'm excited wherever they put me. But yeah, that's just a big role. Shout out Max Harleman. He really made that position fun again, I would say. Just seeing him back there and just being able to be on the field as much as I can, really, that's the biggest thing. And, whether it's punt return, kick return, glad to be wherever.
And Coach Seider described you as an old soul in that room, and said you're kind of a leader in that running back room despite the fact that you're one of the younger guys. How have you approached that?
I think that's just the way I approach the game. And especially now, I think, shout out Devin Ford, so he was my roommate for camp, and I think he rubbed off on me a lot, just the way he prepared for camp and, how he was in the room, asking these questions, not necessarily just for me, but for other guys to be able to hear. I think it was big for me to take Nolan under my wing a little bit, and just because I was in his shoes just last year, so being able to, not ask questions for myself, but, just it's bigger than me, and with this room that we're going to have, we're all going to be up each other, or at each other's throats all year, just because we're so deep. So just having everyone ready to go at all times is only going to make us better.
How are you building chemistry with the two quarterbacks and also in the running back room? Is there anything specific?
I think, honestly, with the new quarterbacks, comparing them to Riley, just they're younger guys. So I think the best thing for us to do as running backs with them is just knowing that we know what we are doing on that play. That way they know they don't have to worry about us, the motions and everything, the blitz. Just being able to pick that up for them. That way that's one less thing on their plate. They got so much being thrown at them right now. But and then as far as the running back room, I think just bonding. We're a bunch of individual guys. We've got a lot of guys that don't want to really do much, but that's just our personalities. But like a big thing for camp, just watching film together, getting recovery together, and just doing a lot of more things together just because it's going to be a long season.
And I'm curious, is there a specific game you guys are so excited for and you can't wait to get on the field?
Obviously, the first one's going to be fun, but I think personally A&M, and I remember hearing J Love talk about A&M yesterday too. Obviously, the atmosphere at that game was crazy, but bringing them here after a bye week, I think that's going to be pretty fun. And that was the one game I didn't get to play in last year, so I'm looking forward to that for sure.
We'll close there.
And can you just talk about Coach Seider? He seems like a pretty vocal guy out there on the practice field, and you guys were doing that drill with the rubber bands around and the weights, and you were like kind of getting out there and doing like, hey, I want to perfect this, I want to do it. How much has he rubbed off on you already, and like, what do you want to take from that relationship?
I think just his vocalness and his approach to the game is just different. For me, I thought it was really good just being able to hear things from another view. He's got a more advanced look. He's looking at big picture things. So I really enjoyed that, being able to, especially for the next level, being able to digest plays and defenses quicker, pre-snap, doing all that. I think it's going to allow all of us to, expand our game and just react so much quicker. That way we can just play faster. And then he's just, he's got a good sense of humor. He's funny. You got to have the right sense of humor to think he's funny. So it took a little while. We got a bunch of hard-headed running backs. When he first came, we were all a little slow to adapt. But, it's been fun just building that relationship as a unit together with him.
Kedren, how are you a better player day 3 today compared to day 3 last year?
I would say I'm bigger, stronger now. I'd also say learning from last year, just from the guys. It's all about getting better, right? I think watching the older guys from last season just got me better, in fall camp, because you're watching them from the sideline. You're watching what they do, how they move, how they recover. So I think just watching guys, the older guys from last year, and not even just running backs, just everybody, how they approach the game, I think it got me better from this year. I'm implementing that into my game.
And then none of us know the feeling of running somebody over. What is that feeling like?
I would say it definitely brings out a lot of energy, not even within yourself, but your team for sure. Hypes everybody up.
You're listed at 240 now. How do you think that's impacted you as a running back?
Like I said, I think I feel faster and stronger, but I think like you said, just when you run into contact, people bump off of you, or you you sail, and then all your weight is against them. So I think it just gives the advantage of when I'm running fast and somebody tries to tackle me, I can break the tackle. Even with my speed, I feel a lot faster now also. So I think just with the speed and everything. So.
Yeah, I think people might confuse you're 240, you're heavier, you lose a step. How did the strength and conditioning staff convince you that, hey, bulking up is actually going to help you with your speed too?
Technique. Throughout the summer, we worked a lot on technique. That's what we do every day. Is learning technique of, we did A skips, and we always do that type of stuff. So I think just learning the technique of running and acceleration helped me out.
We'll close right here.
Coach talked about how the room is unselfish and that nobody transferred, and you guys stayed despite knowing that J Love and Price have kind of the 1 and 2 role. Can you talk about how you're focused on competing this fall camp, even though you might not be the featured back?
I think I'm just focused on getting better every day, 1% better every day. That's what Coach always tells us. I just, like I said this earlier, I learn from the other guys. That's how I try to make my game better. Trust my coaching, trust my teammates. I think I'll get better every day if I do that. So.